Let's go over production runs. This is the heart of ReciPal's inventory management. It's the place where you're turning raw materials into finished goods. So let's take a look. The first step is to select the recipe that you want to work on. If you select a sub-recipe or a work in progress, then when you complete the production run, that will update the amount of raw materials you have. If you select a recipe, then when the production run is complete, it will update the amount of your finished goods. In this case, we'll select our chocolate chip cookie 12 packs. Once you have your recipe selected, the next step is to enter how much you're going to produce and on what date you're planning to do this production run. Everything saves automatically in ReciPal. So if you're setting up a production run for a future date, after you enter that, there's nothing else you need to do. You'll now see this production run show up in your list as scheduled for a future date. When you select how much you're going to produce, we'll automatically scale your recipe and all the raw material needs. You can also add a margin of safety, which is an additional buffer amount to make sure you don't run out of any raw materials when working on the production. When setting up your recipe, you tell the system how much of your product is included in a case and a pallet, so there's lots of different options to choose from when selecting how much you're going to produce. If you change the amount that you're going to produce, you'll see the ingredient requirements update accordingly. If you're short on any ingredient that's required, ReciPal will highlight this in red to let you know that you don't have enough for the production that you're planning on doing. In this case, we'll set it so that we have enough raw material for the production. Now, if you want to be able to have full traceability for recalls or audits, then you need to enter ingredient lot codes associated with the production. This is where you can save a lot of time with our autofill feature. When you select this, it'll pull in your oldest lots first so that you're doing first in, first out. And in any cases, when you're finishing one lot and needing to move on to the next, it'll put in 2 lot codes for you automatically. If you're doing this manually, you could hit the plus button to add multiple lot codes if necessary. We also know that sometimes what you plan to use isn't what actually happens in reality. So we give you the option to adjust the actual amount used so that your inventory always stays accurate and up to date. In this case, let's say I spilled some flour, so I have to use more than what the recipe actually called for. Another helpful feature we provide is a batch control log. This is basically a printable checklist for your production team where they can take notes, record lots, and any other important information from the production. Once the production's complete, you'll record some information to close out the production. You'll tell the system how much you actually produced versus what was planned, how many hours it took, and who worked on it. You'll also enter a finished good lot code for full traceability of the production. You can either create this code manually or configure it programmatically. In this case, we're choosing the prefix CCC for chocolate chip cookies and using the date to create a unique lot code. You can record any waste and then enter any additional notes about the yield, any changes, anything notable that you want to record for future productions. When you close the production, you'll get a summary report with all the high-level details, a cost analysis, and a view of all the ingredients that were used in that production. The action of closing the production is what causes the raw materials, finished goods, and lot codes all to be updated. So until you close that production, nothing has changed in your inventory. Production runs make it easy to keep track of all of your inventory levels in real time and give you the traceability of everything that happened.